I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With the lights.
Oh, yeah, I guess I can put my hat on now.
Welcome back to the R.D.C show. Richard,
Dirt,
and Dad.
Chris.
All right, welcome back to the R.D.C show. This week we're going to discuss the debate and was it a debacle? Was it a win? Was Obama upset from having his premarital sex or pre-anniversary sex, as some people said, or was he just tired? Who knows? Let's get the opinions of our guests.
I didn't really watch it myself, man, but because I think it's a bunch of nonsense. Watching them debates is not gonna defer me from picking anybody. You know what I'm saying? They're all scripted, so how is it gonna even matter? It doesn't matter to me. Sorry to be that blunt, but that's how it is.
Well, I go kind of the way Derek feels as far as these debates. There's so much lies and stretching of the truth and everything else that goes on. You're really not judging these people on anything they're going to do or not do as a president. You basically are down to judging them as they appear on that stage at that minute.
So you're saying it's more of a beauty contest.
That's basically what it amounts to these days.
It's honey boo boo for all the people who go.
And that's what it is. We've got a honey boo boo. If you go to it as at a honey boo boo mentality, yes, Mitt Romney won. If you go at it as looking for something you could take back and tell your kids that the person you're going to vote for is going to do something for this country and you're probably sadly out of luck.
Neither one of them are going to do
it.
To me, I think I was just hearing what we've heard for months now from both of them. Kind of same thing. Although Mitt Romney did decide to change his policy, like President Obama said, from never mind. He didn't want to talk about it anymore.
Right.
He just basically he has two different policies. The one that he's been running on for a long time, which says he's gonna raise the taxes on the most wealthy along with everybody else, the middle class, and then he turns around and says, I'm not gonna do it. So you never know where you stand with him, because with the conservatives nowadays, in my opinion, what I've come to see is the mainstream conservatives and the mouthpiece of the conservative movement, the answer is always yes and no. It's black and white. It's both. It's just whatever is opposing you is what their position is.
Well, that's part of what I was saying last week when I talked about 4 years ago. Laura Ingraham was complaining about people using food stamps to feed their fat kids, and now she's complaining that Michelle Obama wants kids to be healthy and trim. That's exactly what you're saying is true. That's what they do all the time.
Just to be negative.
No matter he could have the cure for cancer, and there'd be something wrong with it.
But it'd be a bad thing wrong with it.
Right.
Yeah, dude, that is... Oh, my God.
They don't have any problem with giving up individual rights and liberties when it's a Republican ramming the Patriot Act down our throat and up our ass, or however you want to look at it. But, everything else that a Democrat does is attacking
Socialist.
our individual rights. Yeah, and it's big government.
Right.
I mean... I don't know.
People, hopefully...
Well, you've got to remember this, too. The Republicans have geared the game so that they have ways of getting stuff passed where they only need a simple majority, but when the Democrats want to get something passed, it has to have a 2/3. And I'm still not sure how they've operated that, but if you watch, there's a big difference in how a bill can be passed. It depends on how it's presented. And all of this, it's just game playing. And the other part is, sadly, when the Democrats did have a chance to do something the first 2 years of Obama's administration, what did they end up doing?
Pussyfooted around.
They fought amongst each other. They did not stand as a united front with which to stop the Republicans and their ways and build a better America. They were all about lining their own little pockets. And that, sadly, is what, we've got our choice between these people that want to do this and the ones that are just going to take our pockets and empty them.
I thought it was really weird.
I felt like run for president. Oh, right.
Hey, all I know is Romney promised you $12 million. You elect me for president,
Rich.
I'll give you $24 million. I'll double his offer.
I'll write your name in, dude. I'm not old enough to be president.
Don't think I
I'd
can't
write
do
my
it.
own name in. I don't give a fuck.
You know what the quickest way?
I'll write my own name in.
You know what the quickest way to start
But I think you have to be at
to
least
create 12
35.
million jobs or 24 million jobs is?
I don't want money.
You know what the quickest way to do that is?
Yeah, you legalize weed.
No.
Then you got growers.
We're not. We're not
growers,
doing it
you
at
got
the
farmers, you
intellectual
got
level. We're doing it at
industrial
Romney's
workers. You
level.
got packaging. You got distributing. You got 300-400 jobs in every county in the country, guaranteed.
Well, Richard, what did they do in that movie last night? What did they need? Why did they embrace the Nazis? Because they wanted to fight them. They wanted to have a war. Romney says he can create 12 million jobs. If nothing else fails, he can always go to war with somebody, and instantly you'll have 12 million jobs.
Speaking of that, I found it awful funny that Mitt wanted to add $200 billion to, which I already knew, but I guess the people that usually watch Honey Boo Boo that probably watch it tonight don't know, is that Mitt Romney has been saying that for a long time. That's one of his goals, one of his plans. But if you're going to raise $200 billion for the military, which already spends 169 or 167, I forget what it was when Derek looked it up, but it was 100. We already spent more than the next 15 countries combined. We already spent more than them, and he wants to boost it another $200 billion.
More?
Yet he wants to get rid of Big Bird, and he wants to cut away Sesame Street. Something else that the poor people, the weak people that don't have anything need. I'm sorry, I don't mean weak because I'm poor. We're not weak. We're stronger than they ever could be because they couldn't live in our shoes, and we can live in their shoes. We know it. We just haven't had a chance. But
yeah, he wants to cut out P.B.S.
You want to cut that? You want to cut that out? Something that poor people
of 1% or something like that.
Yeah, you want to take away that, but you want to add $200 billion to the military. Now, why would he do that, people? He wants to make his friends at Halliburton and all the other big companies more money. Because George Bush, he didn't give them enough. And then once he's there, I guarantee you, you better kiss your children, your little boys and girls at home that are in that right age, because they're going to end up out there fighting for this country and probably coming home in body bags. That'll be your choice. Their blood will be on your hands if Romney's in there, because I guarantee you, in the first year, he will be president.
If I could ask him
our first year of his presidency, there will be a war.
If I could ask both the presidential candidates a question, it would be, what are you going to do on Iran? What is it? What does Iran and what's going on in Iran mean to you? Because if either one of them said that they wanted to go to war, which I promise you that we do not want that. Okay, a single engagement is going to kill more people than the entire 10 years in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Like
it's going to be an entirely different war. This is not against, these people have weapons. They have part of the stuff that came out of the Soviet Union when it collapsed. Believe me, Iran already has nukes. Anybody that thinks otherwise, you're just not, you just don't know reality. Do you think the Russians got every fucking IBCM and every nuke that they ever had out there in the world back? Are you kidding me?
No.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah, they didn't get it all back, and I guarantee you Iran and other people have. I mean,
what did you think of Iran testing
India's
those
got
missiles?
Israel's got it. They all got it all around there. So what's the difference?
What did you think of Iran testing those missiles a couple weeks ago, saying, you know what, this is what we could do? And you know what I'm talking about.
We do not want a fucking engagement with Iran. We do not want an engagement with Iran. We need to leave them alone. It's not our business.
The Iranians are
America
not weak.
has no business. We don't need their energy.
They are not weak. They are not like Taliban. It is not going to be 2 or 3 of them in a corner that you can beat up and bully. It's going to be people that will fight you.
And they will get help from Russia and China. You bet your ass. So
yeah, Mitt Romney's already pissing off the Russians, talking
not
shit.
Not just a fucking third world country.
Well, and remember, with
the
what's going on
the
in
Cold
Syria,
War, they need it.
Syria is one that was backed by Russia, and Russia and China, at least up until recently, have been supplying them with the weapons they're using in that war. And they refuse to stop. One of those little points people may not pick up that's in the international news.
We've been trading blows with China and Russia for years and years. Korean War, Vietnam War, Afghanistan, many other places. There's no love lost. I mean, this truce or ending of the Cold War is just, we're still, playing games against them.
So if Christopher
it was their own ending, wasn't it? They did that shit on purpose so they could regroup. And now they're just going to come under the radar and fuck us up.
No, they didn't do it on purpose. They liked being where they were. It just happened to them because
so they did it on purpose.
It happened to them because they were dumb.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Well,
What's
know,
this
dude.
now?
The Russia breaking apart.
Russia.
USSR you couldn't maintain it.
Who
It's
was-
too big.
But see, the thing is what happened is the communism dissolved.
Yeah.
Just like the Democratic
But-
Party, the first 2 years
Isn't it back to where it was,
of
though?
Obama's election. There
Isn't
came
it-
a point when those communist countries all wanted things a little bit different than the whole did. But who was the whole? The whole was them, and they were the whole. So when Poland says, you know what, I'm dropping out, no longer was there the mighty Russia to come and conquer them like they did in years past.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, to me, what happened to Russia and the USSR was they collapsed because communism, is a fanatical view. They went to a fanatical viewpoint. Nobody could own anything. And so it collapsed. But
Yeah.
going back to Russia, they still, remember this, at the height of the Cold War, they put a whole lot of missiles in the ground in
But they're still
countries that
there.
are now basically Muslim or
Nobody-
Muslim-oriented.
Nobody ever fucked
Right.
with
And that,
Russia
I'm not
because-
even talking about Pakistan,
Right. There's
Georgia, and them other
those
names
are
you
the-
can't mention. Some of them countries,
They still have a bunch
If you
of
ask
oil
most
there.
Americans,
Kazakhstan or whatever.
I would have to say that their
Don't they?
probably opinion on it. What's the most important issue that we're going to hear
They're
about?
probably
in the debate
a
is
definite
economics.
power, and we
It's
don't
the
even know it.
economy, jobs. That's what we're worried about. Not shit
What
like
is
that.
different now about Russia than was then?
That's because we're the honey boo boo
They're
society.
not as exploitated as before.
What do you mean by
Idiocracy is going to be a
exploitation?
history
They weren't
documentary
as
pretty
cocky.
soon.
Yeah,
I mean, they're still as cocky, but they're not showing it like they were before.
well, they're like the Chinese.
exactly.
The way to control the world is not with massive armies and massive
Exactly.
weapons. It's by controlling the
Owning
banks,
everything.
controlling the
Yes.
raw materials. Russia
Yes.
is so full of raw
own
materials.
trade. You own
And believe
trade.
me, Russia has
trade.
seen what China has done, and they are trying to catch up fast.
Mhm.
They don't need tanks and
Exactly.
missiles.
That's what I'm saying.
They can control you economically.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, back on the topic.
Yes, we got a bit of far there. But
Derek, if you had a question to ask president or presidential candidates, what would you ask them?
Well, unfortunately, I'd probably just simply ask him why he deserves to be president.
What
To
would
me
you want
or
to
to
hear?
everybody.
What would you want to hear from him?
Well, there isn't nothing I want to hear from him because I know he's going to lie to me. So,
You just want to see how.
but
they
I
respond.
guess I would like to see him say, I'm here for the people, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, because that's what he's going to say,
Sound like
right?
the Charlie Brown my
Yeah,
dad.
exactly. Wah, 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 wah.
I think what I would like to hear,
Unfortunately,
is that
but that's
some-
how it's going to be, though.
if I could pick and choose and decide what I'd want to hear from them, and know that they're telling the truth, it would be that they say that they're dedicated to the job and they're going to do it for the love of their country.
Exactly.
Like so many people who volunteer for armed services do nowadays.
George
Why-
Washington
is that
was
too
our
much
best
to ask
president.
of a fucking president to say, you know what, I'm not going to take a shitload of money. I'm not going to take a bunch of payoffs. I'm going to take my fee for being a U.S. president, and I'm going to do the job for the good of the country.
Good for the country.
And
plain
treat
simple.
all Americans as equals. That's
Yeah.
what I want to hear.
And we're gonna
from the
fucking
president.
win.
Treat all Americans as equals.
And we're going to fucking win.
Whatever you tax them, we're
Yeah.
all equal tax. We're all treated the
Exactly.
same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We put the boot to the throat and we just squeeze if need be.
What would you want to ask the president?
You
to
there?
say?
y'all know what I would ask him. I want to know which one of you guys is going to get your head out your ass and legalize weed, get it over with. It's a constitutional right. It's my freedom to pursuit of happiness. And I'm at the point where I say, if they don't give it to us soon, all of us people who are smoking weed ought to say, all right, then I want to violate the Second Amendment to the Constitution and take away the guns. Because,
The problem you'll have there is most of the people that have guns smoke weed.
yeah, but if they do, then
That
why
should
aren't
help
they
them,
for
huh?
legalizing
See?
it? Why do they allow this to go on? All I want to
Because
do is
they
the right.
believe the
Well,
almighty
that's
Richmond.
what we were getting
And what
off.
he says
but,
is true.
You know, you're asking me what I would ask him. That's what I would ask him. One of them has got to do it,
Yeah.
and I still believe
God.
Don't do
even Romney could be elected if he were to come out in favor of
We might have to
legalization.
cut that out.
Zeke Rush.
Dude, come on, man. If you look at fucking Glenn Beck, if you never knew who he was and looked at a picture of him and they said, what do you think this is? Do you think this is a good Christian man? Do you think this is a preacher? Or do you think this is an Aryan Brotherhood guy? They'd all be like, yeah, that's Aryan Brotherhood guy.
Yeah.
Just a picture of me. He's a
Okay, well, you know what? I got to throw this out there for all you Mitt fans, you know, who think Mormons are okay and all that, and maybe you really don't care. But according to something I just
They're Honey
saw,
Boo Boo crowd.
We need to do
that
some more
according to the Mormons, all Indians were at one time Jewish. Just a little thought for all you boys out
What
there.
makes you think that?
That's
What
what,
makes you
that's
think
what
that?
the Mormons say.
Well, oh, okay.
Basically,
You fucking Mormons
They're
are
the lost
idiots.
tribe of Israel.
yeah.
Mitt, you're a
And
fucking
God was
dumbass,
mad at them,
dude.
so he took away their memory and changed their skin color and
Yeah.
left them over here in America.
David.
Mormon magic underwear, let me talk to God.
Joseph Smith.
South Park did that shit perfectly.
Joseph Smith was under the tree.
Dum, 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 dum.
Oh my god.
Nevertheless.
Well, I guess if I had one question to ask presidential candidates, I would ask them why a hard-working, a hard-paying taxpayer like myself, who works 50 hours a week and like these guys, just to take care of their children, lives check to check, can barely pay their bills, but still every day we get up and go out there and do our part for society. And some of us use some financial aid, food stamps, insurance for their children. And every day we hear about how we are so bad and evil and how those things need to get cut even more. But I never hear the Republicans talk about cutting it for the people that have all the money and pay all of us. If I could write a check to someone, I would definitely do my part to help this country. And if it meant I had to pay a little more, then hey, you might not need 42 plasma TVs in your house. You might not need 5 or 6 different cars. You know, some of us don't have shoes or socks to put on our feet. You guys, that's just something you don't even think about. So I would ask president candidates what they would do for someone like me, people that make America work and the people that make America move.
We're the real
Not
job
the people,
creators.
not the people that
at
have
the
all the
bottom,
money
not
and
the
pay
people
my
at the
give
top.
sign my
Right.
paycheck.
Yep.
I don't care what you're gonna do for them. They're signing my paycheck, so they're already better than me.
Yeah.
Any final statements
What
on
I'd have
that
to
topic?
stay on that is if getting basically touching on what you were talking about. If you take 19% away of taxes from somebody that makes minimum wage, if a person earning minimum wage has 19% of their check taken away for federal taxes, and that's the part that gets kept, then why doesn't Mitt Romney have to pay 19%?
Exactly.
Well, all I'd like to know is what happened to that good, clean, supposedly Christian society that I grew up, that America supposedly was, where people were happy. They bragged about how our government took care of the poor, the people that didn't have health care, and all of that. What happened to that country who now we're sitting there going, you know, it just costs too much? Where is the Christianity?
Doctors
I
used
just
to go-
don't understand.
Doctors used to go house to
Look,
house.
the
didn't
problem.
It's the philosophy
Right?
of Ayn
Well,
Rand. It's
doctors
fuck
used to
you,
go
I
house to
got mine.
house.
That's
Yeah.
the philosophy.
Right.
Yeah, I
Look,
know.
That's Ayn Rand.
this is the problem with America. I'm gonna break
Doctors
it. I'm gonna
used
break
to
it
go
out for
house
you.
to house.
Look, I'm gonna break out what happened to America. What happened to America was, in the 50s and 60s, we had it too good. People, one man could go to work, make all kinds of money, come home, take care of his family. The mom was there to take care of the children. Those children were spoiled. Those children grew up, had kids. Their kids became hippies. They didn't like it, so they found a way to crush that. Basically, what you had was people that had it too good for too long and didn't pay attention to anything going on around them. And in the end, they're all still up there, and we're down here now because they were spoiled.
Well, they
They had
spoiled
life
all
the
the
way it
wealth out
was.
of war.
And basically, greed kicked in, and they said, "Why should I keep helping these
But do
people?"
you know that's a normal cycle of things, that it happens that way?
Right.
It does.
Yes. Unfortunately, it does.
It does. It's
The normal
normal human
cycle.
nature. You look in
Yes.
other economies that are younger
Right.
than ours, and they're having the same problems at about the same time as we did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
But you
it's
know
not
when the
uncommon.
longest period of when that didn't happen happened in the history of man?
No.
From the time that Roosevelt was elected until he died. That is the one period of history where it didn't go up and down.
Yeah. And what was going on in that time? How much were the rich taxed?
Heavily.
Ask yourself that.
A
That's
shitload.
the true problem.
But
Everything was good.
they also had a nice, safe country where neighbors had jobs and could be proud and they could treat them like decent people.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, what it comes down to
Yeah,
is
it's like they're believing
how do you
people
want to
on
treat your
purpose.
fellow man?
Yeah.
Do you want to say,
Why do you wanna
screw you,
belittle
it's all mine, go find your
Yeah,
own?
that's
Or
not
if you
right.
see your neighbor needing an extra bite of food or something, can you give it to him?
No, it's
Right.
fuck you. I got mine. That's the attitude.
Right.
Because nobody
Yeah.
lived by the golden
But what
rule
happened?
No,
What
they
happened to
don't, they don't.
humanity?
No.
We're all
Humanity's
Christians, but
gone
nobody
out the
lives
window for
Christ-like
10
at all,
cents on the
so,
dollar.
you know.
Our grandfather was at Pearl Harbor, and he grew up listening to him always tell me the golden rule. That's how people should live. Well, I guess his generation is truly gone because nobody follows the golden rule these days. It's like you said. I got mine. It's like I said about Fox News. It's my opinion. You don't like it?
Well,
Screw off.
If
That's
Mitt
pretty
Romney
much
gets
how that
elected,
goes.
yeah, we'll get to have we'll get our taste of that.
I don't think he'll be elected.
Mitt Romney gets elected, we will be in a war. Your children
I think
will
I'm gonna
die
vote
in
for
a war
SpongeBob.
that
World
they
War
don't
III,
need to
man.
die
Ain't
in.
no shit.
I'm gonna write in SpongeBob.
He's already said he wants to raise 200 million more to the thing.
Squidward.
Cut out PBS, so that the one thing poor people have. You know what's gonna happen? Me and Derek said about PBS. It's gonna be some entity like.
It'll be a
Rupert
good
Murdoch is
yeah.
gonna buy it,
HBO.
Yeah.
and then it's going to be put on TV where you have to
You
pay
have
to
to
see it.
pay to
One
buy
more
it.
thing that gets taken from the poor,
Yeah.
and then
Oh, yeah.
their kids
Yep.
love it, so now
That's
you're going to
what's
make them
gonna
pay
happen.
for it.
Mhm.
But that just
Watch
makes
our
us, that
segment
just
on
makes us-
public access TV. It speaks to this very
Yep.
topic.
it just makes it just makes them more money, and that's all he's going to do. Just like adding 200 billion to the military, all that's going to do is make all his buddy and Bush's buddy and everybody, Cheney's buddies at Halliburton, more money
Halliburton's buddies.
because they're going to be building more tanks and more RVs and more
The
bulletproof
rich get
vests,
richer, and
more guns.
every once in a while they'll catch a guy
But
that's
nobody
close to
ever
them
questions
and pull
that.
him up and then
Right.
kick 3 others down.
Right.
Nobody ever questions that because under the last Republican president, we had a very bad disaster known as 9/11. But nothing like that's how it happened under Bush or Obama since he supposedly has gutted the military, as they say. Yet he's killed more of them towel-headed people than Bush ever did in 8
Dick
years.
Cheney is more responsible for 9/11 than Bin Laden ever was.
And Dick Cheney
Yeah.
has stole 3 hearts that other people should have had. That he should not have got those heart transplants. There's other people more deserving to live than him. His time is over. God said, "Let him die," and you rich bastards said, "Let him live."
Well, the conservatives don't have a problem playing God in certain situations, but don't ever mess with an
Especially
embryo.
with them, with their own.
Don't ever try to save someone's life through embryo research.
No, don't
But
heal the sick.
we'll
with
let-
the information you were given.
We'll
by
let
God.
John Doe, age 29, on the heart transplant list fall just a little bit down here
One more
because
time.
we got 80 some or however
Yeah,
hell old
yeah.
he is.
70-something-year-old.
Vice president, he needs a second new heart. Let's put him up here. No, he needs to go.
Well, here's a little tidbit for you. Of course, it was at the dawn of, they had just learned how to transplant hearts. And Eisenhower, President Eisenhower, he was retired by this time, had a bad heart. And they went to him and they said, "We can transplant a heart in you. You know, we have the technology, it's new, but we can do it." And he said, "No." He said, "This is the heart I was given, and I'm not going to take a heart away from somebody younger who could use it more."
That's what a true presidential candidate would do. On that topic,
There's not too many of those.
guess we'll say peace, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, good one.
Peace.